Side racing, and it's a tricky and difficult track as well. Some very hard corners around here, and some very deadly curves as well, particularly that one through Cheetah, the penultimate corner. A bit of a sausage curb there, which hopefully nobody breaks their spine on this week, as we had another driver in real life motorsport breaking their spine on one last week. It's really about time we get those removed altogether. But we're looking forward to a fantastic qualifying here, where everybody's going to be putting the cars to the very limits, I hope.
Yeah, they're going to be putting the cars to their paces this evening. And yes, we are in Kyalami for a race this evening. And it's a circuit that I've been very excited about as a Formula One fan. And I'm hoping that we can get some racing here in the near future in Formula One. But we'll get back to GT3 racing then. So Kyalami Grand Prix circuit is a 4.58 kilometer circuit that hosts 16 corners, 6 to the right, 10 to the left. It is a circuit that has some great flowing sections and is broken up by enough braking to make the racing exciting, with action zones at turns 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13 and 16. So plenty of side-by-side action to come. And it's a circuit that is bound to be grounds for an amazing race. And yeah, we're going to be deep into qualifying and no laps set on the boards at the moment. And the drivers are going to be getting used to a new update. We've had it for about a week now or so, and drivers are still getting used to the new way that the physics engine has worked. And from last week, is what I heard, is the drivers were complaining a lot about tyre wear. They were struggling with that. And just how well, Stephen, I guess my question is just how difficult is it to get used to a new physics engine in a sim?
Well, it really depends on what's changed and how it's changed, and tyre model changes and tyre wear changes are going to be one of those that kind of sneaks up on you. It's not going to be easy to judge, especially if you haven't done a long practice or a race session practice. You're not going to know that, 10-20 minutes into the race you lose all front end grip. And it could just be, you know, people just aren't up to speed with it yet because they haven't had that time there. So it's going to be catching people out left, right, and centre, I believe. But those who have put the time in, as always, in anything to do with racing or anything in life, for that matter, those who have put the practice and the time in are going to reap the rewards. They're going to know exactly how these tyres are going to behave. But yeah, it's a difficult one. It's especially if you're jumping into this with no previous experience as well. All those things that you learned from every previous race are all muscle memory. It's all muscle memory, and that muscle memory it's automatic. So you think, oh well, I can brake for this corner. I'm going to bleed off this amount off the brakes, and then get on the throttle this early. And when the tyre model changes, all of that changes. Everything about it changes. So you've got to really make a lot of adjustments. It can be very, very difficult, cause major problems. What you tend to find is consistency is the first thing to go, rather than the actual speed.
Yeah, that's it. That's something I've noticed as well, and it's just a difficult one because you sort of have to change what you think you know, I suppose, when you go into it, because everything has changed that little bit, and it could affect the choices of strategy later in the race if we want to go over the format quickly. Again, it's I believe it's 14 minutes of qualifying, then a 40-minute race with one mandatory pit stop, which the drivers have to take somewhere in that middle point of the race. But you can change for tyres and you can not change for tyres, and I think what brought Guillaume Hamling to success last week was his choice for tyres on his pit stop. So that is all leader in the pros at the minute. And just to take a quick look over the rest of the championship, the Silvers led by Elias Troyer, of course, flying the flag for Italy, along with the large contingent of Italian drivers on this grid. I'm not sure how many we've got tonight, but we've got a lot of Italian names on the grid. And then Paul Sims leads the way for the AMS as well for the time being, but of course we're only on the first round as well. And someone who's going to be looking for some redemption this evening is Jamie Nuttall, who's currently the man on pole position throughout the majority of the grid there. And how important is it going to be for Nuttall to get himself back into the flow of things?
He's really just can't make any mistakes this week. We have got a drop round, I believe, in this championship, so one of these races isn't going to count. So his last week where he DNF'd will be the one that he doesn't want to count, I imagine. But that means he's got no room for error anymore. He can't have a bad race. He's got to keep things smooth and clean and not take any untoward risk, essentially. It's worth noting as well that those driver categories could be shaken up after this evening as well. After this round, we are going to get those categories mixed up, and people will be reassigned different categories. So somebody like Paul Sims, who did very well in the AM series last week, winning by well over 37 seconds, I believe it was, may end up finding himself in the Silvers next week. So that could make a change. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to take any points with him, however. But yeah, it's going to be important for Jamie to recover from last week, and he's got to hope as well that maybe somebody else has a bad race at the top end, because he's got the pace to be challenging for the win for sure. Currently sitting in top spot on screens at the moment by 4/10, which is an absolute age around this track. About 140s is the kind of times that we're going to be looking at in the end, but 140 flat at the moment from Jamie Nuttall is looking competitive already.
Yeah, it is, and he was very quick last week, is what I'll point out as well. So I don't see Jamie Nuttall really falling into any other category than where he is currently. But yeah, I think we might see some drivers moving themselves around. If I was to make any sort of predictions, perhaps Elias Troyer might find himself amongst the pros. Perhaps Samuel Chumley, he might find himself dipping into the Silvers or the Pro-Ams, I guess. But I don't know, I don't want to put anything on any of the drivers in terms of a negativity or doing things. It's just where I've been able to sort of get to grips with all of them over my all but brief time here, I suppose. But we got yeah, there'll be a lot of shakearounds, I think, and we might see some familiar faces. Remember, we had I think the last move that I remember seeing was Eric Larson moving up into the pros, which he's definitely worked himself well in that category as well. But we're watching Nick Stick make his way around, one of my favourite names on the grid, just because I wanted it to be Nick Stick when it was there.
Sounds like a
when I
Marvel
saw it.
hero, doesn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, it's like
The,
Nick Fury's long lost cousin or something.
Yeah.
But yes, and hello everyone in the live chat as well. We haven't forgotten about you, Ocean Chef. Hello, Nico Veldman. Hello,
that
hello, Chloe.
That would be Ocean Chief.
Ocean Chief. Ocean Chief. You know what?
Good
I
friend
can't
of mine.
read.
Taught me everything I know.
He can't read.
He claimed. But yeah, he's runs in the SLR, one of the F1 leagues that where I started and honed my craft, shall we say, as a commentator. So yeah, it's great to see him supporting other leagues as well, and also Nico Veldman as well, who I also remember from his SLR days as well. It's a small world after all, is it not? So sim racing community, even smaller still. You tend to bump into familiar faces time and time again. But, yeah, looking forward to having you here. But you are a bit of a chef, Ocean Chief. You definitely cook up some fantastic racing over in SLR. But here we are cooking our own batch this evening in ACC.
Well, you know what it was. I think it's. I've been practicing the names for everyone here in preparation for tonight, and one of the names does happen to be Chef. So it's but spelt CZEF, I believe. So maybe I was thinking that. And hello, Biggles as well. Yeah, 999 subscribers. If it happens, I'm keeping an eye on that subscriber count as we go along tonight. So I'm hoping that it does happen live. If not, I think we've got some more racing broadcasts later on the JB Broadcasting channel. So look out for it then. But yes, Ocean Chief saying he does cook a mean Ulster fry, whatever that is. I'm sure you've got some more insight onto that.
I don't know. I have no idea what an Ulster fry is. I don't know. I just don't know. I prefer real food, Greek food, and Italian food. Lots of Italians here. A lot of them picking the Ferrari as well. That's what I was racing earlier today around this track, to get myself familiarised. As we see Millington here coming through that very, very tight hairpin at the bottom called Toolkit, I believe. It's a very tricky track corner to get right, that one, as he comes through now mine shaft and into the Crocodiles. Very tough corner, this one. The Crocodiles are going to take a very late apex. Be very wary of somebody just eating it up the inside there as well. It's a great overtaking spot. Comes now through Cheetah. That yellow sausage curb on the inside there, absolutely deadly. Comes now for the final corner as Millington going to cross the line. What kind of improvement can he do? Got 3 minutes 30 remaining in qualifying. Looks like he's just starting his lap by the looks.
Yeah, it looked like a warm-up lap to me, but if anyone can cook up some action on track, it's Josh Millington, very quick driver indeed among the pros. Guillaume Hamling, of course, leader of the pros at the moment in that yellow Lamborghini as well. And you mentioned the Ferrari, there's a bunch of new cars added with this update as well. I did take a note of them. The Ferrari 296 GT3, I think that was the Ferrari that most drivers are running with at the moment. Then I think we have the Porsche 992 GT3 as well, so that's likely the Porsche that the likes of Sam Fleety and Jack Southfield and Elias Troyer are wrangling around this amazing circuit. And the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2, which is what I think Guillaume Hamling has opted for his chariot this evening. And I think the only Lamborghini out on the circuit as well, if I'm not mistaken.
And last week's winner as well, let's not forget. So Lamborghini, 100% record so far in the Pro Series.
100% record, indeed.
But yeah, looking forward to see that. I mean, looks fantastic in that yellow. It's not a colour that I would generally associate with a Ferrari for sure, but the Lambo, it's always been a bit more out there than the Ferraris, have they not? They've always been a bit more flamboyant, and this one's no different. Of course, owned by Audi now, but still making great headway in motorsport.
Indeed, and I think Josh Millington's finally going to come around and set a lap then in his Porsche. Round the final corner he comes. Now let's see where he can put it. Can he get himself up in the mix? I'm sure he can. It's P4, 5/10 off of Jamie Nuttall, and actually Guillaume Hamling has closed that gap by about 2/10, or just less than, or just over, well, just less than 3/10 actually. If we take a look at Paul Sims, he's getting himself in amongst the mix there with the pros. Maybe he'll be hopping up to the pro-ams.
He could be jumping 2 categories by the end of the day, yeah, for sure. He's already looking very quick, beating a lot of the silvers as well. He would certainly look at maybe a championship fight in the silvers if he was there as well. Possibly, like you say, contend with a few of the pros. As we're on board now with Salnikov in the BMW. Absolutely beautiful looking car. Some great liveries out on show this evening as well, and I have to say I really like that one. Looks very executive, I think is the word. Is understated.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think it quite accentuates the features on that BMW. You know, it kind of, you know, I don't know if I don't know if I'm the only person who's ever done it. I'm pretty sure I'm not. But you know, when you see sort of the fronts of cars and you sort of associate faces with them, you know, like it just looks very aggressive, that BMW, and I think that livery, the silver and the blue there, it very much accentuates sort of all those features on the front of it, actually, and. It just looks very sharp, doesn't it? Very aggressive.
Oh, so it looks like a very angry Bugs Bunny. If I'm honest, the grill looks a little bit like two rather large rabbit teeth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is an aggressive looking car, as you say as well. But I mean, that is a trait of most BMW drivers, is it not, as well? Like, they tend to be fairly aggressive on the roads of the UK as well. Many a time have I looked out of my rear view mirror to literally be able to see the guys, you know, count the guy's mustache hairs in the BMW behind me. So close is he tailgating down the A1. But here we go with Salnikov, looking very tasty as he comes down into Loikop, as this is a really tough corner to get right. You've got to take a very late apex. He misses the apex altogether there on the entry, but I'll allow him to get down the power early anyway, but he's going to cost him time all the way down through Mineshaft and into the Crocodiles, as he's looking to gain positions in the Silver Series. That's late on the brakes there, as we're going to cut BMW off the road on the inside there. Not sure what they are doing, but using all the track on the exit as you come now through into Cheetah. A very light lift. Be very committed here as you come down the final corner, braking just before the 50-meter board for this one. Touch the inside curb and let it drift out wide as you get back onto the throttle. And there's a lap, or at least half a lap, for Salnikov as he comes across the line. He does get the checkered flag, so that's qualifying done for him and many others. Joe Millington coming through now. Leave its mine shaft once again. Going to have a number of guys. Look at this, we've got Jamie Nuttall getting a 140.6 there at the top, and he's still got another lap to go if he's still on going green, as Hamling has hit the checkered flag 5/10 below that. So Mr. Nuttall proving absolutely rapid so far. Millington going to be able to do anything about that as he comes now around through the final corner. What kind of time can he set? It is
Well, he's up to P2. Knocking
Hamling
Hamling down. Yeah, a great lap from Josh Millington, and I think that's going to wrap up qualifying. It sort of snuck up on us, hasn't it, the end of this session? But wow, what a great session we have had then, and we'll run you through the order for the end of the session. We have Jamie Nuttall then putting it on pole position, with Josh Millington snatching the second place on the front row from Guillaume Hamling in the Lamborghini, who was in P3. Dominic Aligna, P4 with Sir Smoggy. Then Ticehurst in P6. Vladislav Volodya, and then Jack Southfield occupied 7 and 8 with Samuel Chumley and Sam Fleety rounding off your top 10. Paul Sims, a great job for the AM driver. He finds himself in P11. Paolo Angel in P12. Elias Troyer and Violetta in 13 and 14, with Huta and Buring occupying 15 and 16. Gerard Alkamp and Salnikov in 17 and 18. Borelli in position number 19. Then we have Scarcelli, Morandi, Cockle, Leperati, Zampieri, Hilliard, McGowan, Morton, Gemello, Gil Hardy, Redovid, Sapel, Cisco, there we go. Then there's Stick, Miglioli, Kyala, DeFronzo, Romanoli, Martin, and Fuller. I think there's one more. Was there one more driver? I swear there was 40 a moment ago. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm clearly wrong. But that's it. That's your grid for the session. And what a session it's going to be, I think.
Certainly will be. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a very interesting start. There's lots of room for jockeying for position here in the first few corners. So we're going to see a fair bit of that. I'm very interested to see Jamie in this Ferrari as well. 600 horsepower V6 beast that it is going to be interesting to see who gets to that first corner first, and whether or not how aggressively he's going to cover off the inside. I believe he starts on the inside going into turn 1, which obviously turn 1 here is the kink on the straight, and then Crowthorne, I don't know how to pronounce that corner name. Turn 2 is the first left-hander, and that is where we're going to see a fair few dives, I imagine, and turn 1, lap 1, and usually see a lot of carnage and issues there as well. So, interesting to see. Juxkay sweep is pretty flat out as well, but that inside curb there on turn number 3 can be deadly as well. It can really unsettle the car if you hit it too hard, and with cold tyres at the start, it might catch a few people out. But it'll be interesting to see how people go with the strategy and who pits first. As 23 seconds to go, and we're going to be underway.
Yes, we're going to have a formation lap and a rolling start here as well, as per usual, so the drivers will get themselves around the circuit. Before we get racing, actually, Brandon Fuller, new driver on the grid, I believe, and quite an inspirational story, actually. I think we like to see inclusivity in motorsport, and everybody is welcome, and especially if you have a passion for it. And well, Brandon Fuller, despite his physical ailment of him being is only really able to use most of the right-hand side of his body to race, is still out there racing, and I actually find that to be quite an inspirational thing. I mean, not letting anything sort of get in the way of passion into the sport, and big applause. I mean, it doesn't matter where you come at the end of the day. The fact that you're here racing with us is fantastic and deserves a pat on the back, and the best of luck out there, Brandon.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment 100% as well. It's racing is for everybody, and it's inspirational to see him giving it his all, and hopefully he's just here to have fun just like the rest of everybody here. So it'll be great to see him racing side by side with others and getting involved. See how he can do. I hope he does it well. It's formation lap underway. 40 minutes racing here for you at Kyalami in South Africa, and won't be long before we get going. There is going to be a mandatory pit stop. It'll be interesting to see how many people take tyres. I imagine after last week, after Hamlin won the race at the death due to having fresher tyres than his main competitor at the time, who was Fleety, who's down in P10 this week in a Porsche. Going to be interesting to see whether everybody's going to go for those tyres this week and take that risk and time in the pits to gain time on track. Seemed to work out for Hamlin last week for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be important. Indeed, like I say, the drivers were complaining about tyre wear after last week's race around Silverstone, and that's going to really come into effect, I think, and will affect the choices during the pit stop, which, you know, you can really gain or lose time. I think the time loss for taking tyres is about 5 seconds or so. So it's going to be very, very important. And a track like this, Stephen, I think it's... I don't think qualifying tells the whole story around here. Last week we didn't have too many overtakes, but I think a track like this with so many overtaking opportunities, I think it's going to be... The talking's going to be done on track this evening. Wouldn't you agree? I
would think so, yeah. I think... This race track really allows for a lot of aggressive moves, especially under braking, being so many difficult braking zones and wide entry corners that you can take advantage of. So I imagine this is going to be the racetrack that people get their elbows out. Looks like Nuttall is going to start to back people up now, ready for the start. As they come around the Crocodiles into the penultimate corner.
Right,
do you want to take the race start? Do you want me
Yes, let's do it. Let's go racing any minute now. We're making our way through the final couple of corners. Jamie Nuttall going to be looking to get the jump on Josh Millington in the Porsche. He's going to be waiting for the green flag to get us going racing here for round 2 of the TSRC PC GT3 Series here on the JP Broadcasting channel as well. Around the final corner now, up to the line, waiting for the green flags to be waved. Are we going to be getting underway any second now? Waiting for Nuttall to punch it and get all of the drivers ready to go. We've got 39 drivers on the grid. An amazing circuit and an amazing series for racing. The green lights are off and we are underway here in Kyalami, and they're going side by side now. It's Millington and Nuttall all the way down through turn 1 and in towards turn 2. Hamling looking for a way through as well. Looks to the inside. It's going to be Millington though around the outside as they make their way down the hill and in towards turn number 3. And Nuttall has emerged in the lead as well. Hamling fending off Eligna toward the back as well. He's got Smokey for company there too. The top 5 making their way through. There's a lot of jostling for position as that's Ticehurst. He's battling away with Volodya as they come through now into this right-hander.
Yeah, lots of jockeying for position here as people are going side by side up and down the grid. Now into turn 6 Sunset and turn 7 at the clubhouse as well. 2 great overtaking spots here as we see the pink Porsche up the inside of the orange McLaren there, going side by side. Almost going to meet doors there as they come down into the S's. Do not want to be going side by side through here. It's a very tight line. Really need only one car as you go over the brow into Loicop, and this is a tricky place to overtake, but it's definitely doable, especially if we get the inside line as we've got contact there, and the Porsche's around and he's going to back on the track in a very dangerous way, but he's got back going again. Looks like he's been punted back into shape there as he gets going once more. Doesn't lose a position. That's Ticehurst that we're on board with, I believe, in the Ferrari. It was Southfield in the Porsche and Fleety as well. Look, the struggle has gone a bit sideways there. Action happening already.
Yeah, lots and lots of action as well. We've seen Jack Southall get tangled up. There's another incident just there in the background. I'm not sure who that was in the green Porsche there, but that was quite the incident. Volodya fending off Hooter at the moment as well. And I think that's Elias Troyer in the Mercedes. He's trying to make some places up as well. He's got Violetta a couple of cars ahead. He'll be wanting to catch him for the Pro-Am. Salnikov making his way down as well. He's looking to get past, is that Paul Sims? I think it is. Yes, it is Paul Sims. He's trying to make his way through, not for position, but he's got to try and break off some of these cars behind him. Down the inside he goes in the Mercedes. Not quite left enough room as Sims shuts the door on him and he squeezes him out on the line.
Did shut the door there as well, didn't he, Sims? He was having none of that. He saw the late move and just didn't care. He said, I'm far enough ahead to squeeze you out of this. You don't want to put your nose into the vortex of danger there, and he defends his position well in the end, but he's losing time to the guy ahead, and maybe he's just delaying the inevitable here, but the BMW is falling off a little bit now and gathers himself, looks at another attack, because we're on board with Morandi, who's got like a nice little group of cars here, all battling here. So we're going to go through the S's. It's going to be difficult to make any moves here, like we say. The curve on the inside on this left-right hander here, it can be unsettle the car a little bit. You just maybe want to kiss it in the race, but it can be causing problems. This is the real issue here. Going around the outside here is the BMW of, I believe it's Morandi on the Aston Martin here, trying to go around the outside of Loicop there, but did not work at all. It's a very tricky corner to make an overtake in. It is doable, especially if you've got the inside light, but going around the outside can make it much more difficult than it needs to be. But through the cheetah here we go, on board with Fleety. I believe we're on board with, or was it? Don't believe it is, actually.
It's Fleety.
It is Fleety, yeah. So our second place man last week, got a lot to do, get back in those upper echelons of the grid this week, but there's plenty of time to it. 36 minutes remaining of this race. Fleety already looking very racing aggressive. Look at the defensive move there from Southfield. He was turning a little early there. Looked like quite the smoothest turning in the world from Southfield, but he got the car around the corner in the end, and that's all that matters.
Oh my word, Dan Peoples has beat me to it, but we've just hit 1K subscribers on the JP Broadcasting channel. What an momentous occasion. I don't know if Kieran Sharp's got some celebratory effects in his arsenal, but an amazing feat for the channel. And we'll get back to the racing. But wow, congratulations, JP. I'm sure if you're watching, you're very happy about that. I think he was saying he wanted to reach it before he went on holiday or something like that. I can't quite remember. I remember that conversation, but another conversation I'd like to have is Sam Fleety's livery inspired by Patrick Starr? That's my burning question, because it does look very reminiscent as we see Elias Troyer. He's trying to make a move on Leparati at the moment, just in front of him as well. He's got a lot of work to do. I think he's dropped quite far down, actually.
But the purple Mercedes going for the dive up the inside as well, into Loicop as well. What a move that was, as he gets past there, Hillard. McGowan gets past Hillard there. What a move. That was bravery of the utmost there. Very difficult place to make an overtake. As you go over the brow of the hill, you lose all grip on the front tyres as you crest this little hill as you go into one of the hardest braking zones on the track. Sorry to interrupt there, but I had to get that in there. That was
no,
brilliant.
of course. Yeah, it was, and there's still some great fighting going on. Car number 63 really getting his elbows out at the moment. He's got a lot of the AMs behind him. They're looking very racy, and I must say it's one of my favourite things about commentating on this GT3 series is the mix of the 3 different championships. And McGowan in that purple Mercedes is not done yet. He's still got some more action to go. I think he's alongside the McLaren. Is that a McLaren? No, that's a Ferrari. That's Hilliard. They're going side by side in through, I think that's Mineshaft down there at the moment. Still got the inside line. Now has the Mercedes. They're still side by side as they continue on. Oh, well over that sausage curb. That looked horrendous.
Oh, that is definitely, if that was the real spine in that car, it would definitely be broken after that one. That was a nasty bump, and I'm surprised he managed to keep it together there. My practice at this track in these cars, these curbs can be absolutely deadly, as we see another send here from a BMW down into Sunset, I believe that is, along shooting right-hander, but then you've got the outside for the next one. Probably going to be able to keep his nose in there. There's contact, and he's around. That's not gone well for Hilliard at all. Is it Hilliard or Hilliard? I'm not sure, but he's managed to keep it out of the barrier, minimise the damage, but that is that. Position lost for him, as we see here. Nuttall is already 3 seconds down the road and is running away with this one as it stands, and Hamling is still managing to keep that Lambo in the rear view of Millington's Porsche, and he's not going to miss that bright pink Porsche, and we're not going to miss that bright pink Lambo either. These guys fly down to turn 2, well, turn 1 first of all. It's barely a turn this though, it's flat out kink, and into turn 2, the first braking zone. But it doesn't look as though Hamling's going to go for any untoward dives. These guys are going to have fairly similar pace. It's going to be difficult to get a send from 4, 5 tenths back. But, interesting racing so far. It's been a great race, and there's more to come still. I mean, we're barely scratched the surface here at Kyalami, and more action here in the background going through the kink. We've got, I believe that's Ferrari against BMW, and the 2 Ferraris are going to go down the inside on the BMW. BMW closes the door on the one behind, carries it at speed around the outside, gets the inside for the next one. A bit of wheel banging there as he tries to keep his nose in, but the Ferrari gets the position. I believe that is Zampieri, who has managed to jump past Morton there with some fantastic racing, and it's not over yet. There's still some more battling to be done down at the Sunset. I believe the BMW is sending him back up the inside, not giving up. More contact here by the looks of things as the Ferrari goes wide, but now has the inside to Clubhouse and should make this one stick. Is he going to keep it around the outside? He is. The BMW not giving up lightly, and onto the grass he goes after more contact. These guys have really got the elbows out. Fantastic racing by the two of them. Lots of respect shown, lots of disrespect shown as well there as the Ferrari just pushed him off the road, you've got to say, but keeps the position. He's being very aggressive here. Well, that's what we like to see in our racing, is what the Ferrari, BMW under attack from the Ferrari behind now, gets the inside out of the very tight hairpin at the bottom of the back straight, and now through into Mineshaft.
Very close.
So close, isn't it?
Yeah, exceptionally close stuff between them, just on the verge of what is acceptable, I'd say. Being able to sort of shove drivers over, but not too much, leave them just enough space as well. And Morton's doing a great job to sort of battle away, but those 2 Ferraris just getting through. And Giuseppe Zampieri, of course, he's not really fighting for points with these guys. He's got to get clear of these AMS drivers and get himself on the attack. He's got to head after Cockle and Morandi up ahead. And that's where his focus has got to lie at the moment, and he'll be glad to have dropped the 3 behind, but it looks like the other Ferrari's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, Sam Fleety getting very close to the back of Jack Southfield, the 2 Porsche cars as well. They've got Paolo Angel for company in the back as well. A little 3-car bout as they make their way around this twisty circuit at the moment. Hello, Mike Pepper. He may or may not have been the 1K subscriber. Well, thank you, Mike Pepper. Thank you for making yourself known. We shall indeed keep up the good work, I'm sure. And yes, we go back to the racing. Sam Fleety, car number 16, trying to make some moves. He's not really got many places to overtake for the time being. He's just sitting there waiting patiently, but there's a whole train of cars. There's about 6 cars making their way through Mineshaft and in towards the Crocodiles now, and there's so much action on this circuit. I love it. I think the last time we were here was the very first season, if I'm not mistaken.
Brilliant track. It's something that I've only literally been around it like a few times today. Did a couple of races against AIs, and I had immense fun. I've got to say, it's so good for overtaking here. This track. There's lots of places you can send it. Lots of places where a mistake is very easy to happen. There's lots of corners as well where you feel as though it's on camber corner as you make the entry, and then all of a sudden it's off camber on the exit. This one, especially Crawford, is a very difficult corner to get right. It's on camber, it's off camber, it's all over the place. And if you get offline just even slightly, so you've got a false apex there where that yellow sausage curve is. It tries to entice you in that sausage curve to try and hit that apex, but you do not need to. You need to keep a wide line to carry the speed through turn 4 and 5. Barbecue, and but yeah, it really this is the first time I'm commentating on a race here, Kyalami, and it is a brilliant racetrack as well. You can see here lots of action, lots of places to make a move, and these guys know this, and they're sending it left, right and centre, really getting their elbows out, giving us a fantastic show.
Yeah, they certainly are. And well, Sam Fleety's got his work cut out. I've seen Jack Southfield put on staunch defence in many a race thus far, and he's definitely going to be doing that. He'll be making that Porsche as wide as he possibly can. And I guess, Stephen, the question is, in a racetrack like this where there's so many cars close together, but there's ample opportunity to make overtakes, what is it that gets those overtakes done around circuits like this and situations that Sam Fleety himself finds himself in, as well as cars all around him as well? I see I think Aligna and Smoggy are all in that situation, and Hamling as well. Lots of drivers in the same place. So how do they make those moves up?
You've got to be aggressive is the short answer. You've got to spend it. You've got to be confident that you can get the car stopped and claim that inside line, get to the apex first. But more than that as well is to keep the position. What's great around tracks like these, because obviously you make the overtake, just making the overtake isn't good enough here. You can make them overtake straight back if you don't defend your position, and it's important that you try and give as much of a leg up to the guy behind
Very
the guy.
wide.
You as looks like we've got some action here. It doesn't look as though Fleety is all over the shop there. He's going wider and narrower, but keeps the position for now. And but yeah, you've got to be careful as to who you give the toe to, who you give the bonus to. You've got to try and hold up the guy who's trying to overtake you in order to get him in a battle with the guy behind him. It's a game of chess, a big 4D game of chess, and it's very difficult to get it right. But Nuttall seems to have the right idea so far. It's just be quicker than everybody else by a long way. 6.5 seconds almost the gap there, and we're only 7 laps into this race.
Fleety!
He's gone wide there, but is he going to be able to hold it up the inside? He's going to have the inside here. Oh, he's already lost it. Very poor line that he got there through. Oh, he's lost another one as well. Oh, that's a big dive. What a dive, and he's taken out Angel, I believe it is, or Angel if you want to go for the Spanish pronunciation. He will not be pleased with that at all. That Ferrari came from nowhere. That was a torpedo of a move.
Wow. Daniel Kvyat, eat your heart out. That was an immense send from absolutely nowhere. He came from another postcode. It was that far back. But wow, what that'll be. I'm not going to comment too much on that one, but that'll be one for the stewards. I think that'll be a quick thrown book, if you want to put it that way, as Hamling is continuing his chase on Millington toward the front here. 7 seconds is the gap to Jamie Nuttall ahead from Millington. He's just put his foot down and gone. That's it. He's put last week behind him. He's definitely taken my amazing driver coach advice from last week. That was to just go faster. That's my thing, but it works, and it's proven. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think there's a bit of a fight going on here as well. Dominic Aligna and Sir Smoggy, I think they're getting a bit of action in behind these two, and I think that's Aligna still fending them off. No love lost between those two. They fought a very close battle last season in the pros, and they're going to continue to reignite that spark here at the moment. But we're still watching the Lamborghini of Hamling trying to make ways through, and I must say that Lamborghini is looking put together, looking fast. Millington is looking a little bit vulnerable here, and he's looking to the outside now. Is Hamling no way through? Maybe he's going to switch underneath that red Porsche at the moment. No way through for the Lamborghini at the moment, but he's very close to the back. He's almost in the bumper of that Porsche.
He's going to have a very good run down here into the Crocodiles as well. But look at the Porsche putting himself into the middle of the track, making it as difficult as possible for that Lambo to find any space to get through. He's showing a defensive masterclass here as in Millington, but this is all slowing them both down, and bringing Illigner and Smoggy into play here as they're fighting behind in the background. See, big bit of dust kicked up there, as well as, who's that? What's going on? As Millington's gone into the pits, he's had enough of this battle. He doesn't feel as though he can fend off that bright yellow Lamborghini for much longer, so he's decided to come into the pits, come out into some clean air, and maybe get some running without that pressure on him from behind, as we got more side-by-side action, if I get my teeth put back in, from McGowan here, as he again sends it on another BMW. That purple Mercedes, I have to say, I absolutely love that colour. Purple, my favourite colour, and that is a royal purple there, as well as the BMW behind Selenikov goes into the pits as well. Starting to see people looking at their pit windows as we approach the halfway mark, and a number of these, I wonder if they're going to go for the tyre change as well. I imagine they will. If they've gone so early in proceedings, that they probably want to get a change of tyres. And obviously, going a little bit earlier than halfway means that your car's lighter for the second half, and you can maybe make those tyres last a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure, and that's going to be the question for everybody. Do they take tyres? Well, we'll soon find out. That the pit window's now open, of course. Anyone with a little green tag next to their racing number, they've taken their pit stop. Anybody who hasn't has to come in and make a stop, their mandatory stop. They don't have to take tyres, but they can if they want to. And I think with the new physics engine, I think that might be the general consensus between the drivers, but we don't know for sure at the moment. And the time can be won or lost in the pit lane as well. And one thing I did note as well is that it's quite harsh braking into the pits around this circuit, and I reckon we might see from some drivers who haven't really practiced it all too often, is we could see some stop-go 30s during this race if they're caught out by that in the pit lane as well. It's it comes up very quickly around here, I must say.
Certainly does, yeah. It's a tough old pit entry, pit exit, kind of puts you in the middle of things as well if you time it wrong, because coming into turn one with slightly colder tyres in the wrong line and not carrying as much speed as those who've gone down the full straight can put you in a very vulnerable position to get turned in on, so you've got to be careful when you're coming out as well. But that is part and parcel of it. When you're doing your race session practices, you have to get yourself in and out of the pits as well. Practice that a few times. It's important to practice how you mean to race as we come into the second half, approaching the second half of this race here. And having 9 seconds now to Nuttall is just unable. He's been released from behind Millington. It's not really showing. He's not really able to stretch his legs much at all. So I wonder if Millington is going to be able to catch him out in the pit stops as well. If he's got 31-second gap in front of him there, Millington. He's got lots of clean air and could work out well. It'll be interesting to see when Nuttall pits and what his options are going to be like. As we see a blue flag being waved by one of the marshals there. That is Smoggy coming up on Bart Markers, as well as the leaders, a couple of the other leaders there. Got that bright yellow Lambo in front. Can't miss that from Hamling. Side-by-side action here as we've got a Mercedes going round the outside of the Ferrari into the Crocodiles and past Mineshaft. Gets that move done. How easy it can be to overtake here sometimes, as Paul Sims that is getting overtaken by S. Hunter.
Yeah, great little move there. Some great side-by-side action through there, and in comes Sims to the pits. Then he's a long way ahead of the rest of the AMs at the moment, and is looking to continue his dominance over it. But like we said before, I don't think he'll be staying in the AMS category for long. Here we go, Sam Fleety. Then he's making some moves at the moment, all the way around the outside of the Italian liveried car. I think that's Kyala there. He's just got past it, and that's a great little move from the Porsche. And Sam's already come into the pits, so his stop's all done. I think he was one of the first drivers in, if I'm not mistaken. But he's definitely making the most of it as well. So Smoggy's into the pit lane now as well. Samuel Chumley into the pits. Burring in the pits. Redovid in the pits. Borelli and DeFronzo as well. They're all opting for their pit stop at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see where drivers come out. We're still waiting for the top 6 or 7, top 8 even, to come into the pit lane at the moment. And we take a little look. I think it'll be clearer once everything has come through. But Nuttall 10.3 seconds ahead of Hamling at the moment. Unless something goes horribly wrong within the next 20 minutes, I don't see that changing, to be honest.
Certainly don't either, but it is racing. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say there, we're going to see a lot of flurry of cars coming into the pits now, as the pit window is now open for another 7 minutes. So I imagine that majority will get in and out well before that 7 minutes is up, as we push into the second half. But yeah, it looks as though the race leader at the moment is untouchable, as follow on board here with Volodya as he comes round towards the S's. It's been an exciting race so far. So many overtakes so far. It's hard to keep up with how many there's been. But there the top few are coming into the pits as well. I don't know if it's... let's have a look and see who it is. So a couple of people are staying out still. But another group of cars at the top end coming in for their pit stop. So I imagine a lot of them are taking tyres. It looks as though they are rapid on the exit.
Yeah, for sure. Sam Fleety and Sir Smoggy, I'm looking at where they're going to come out in comparison to the rest at the moment. Whether they took tyres or whether the others are taking tyres as well. Josh Millington's just a little bit ahead of Volodya at the moment. There's Jack Southfield in the Porsche making his way out. I just wish the live timing on the tower was a little bit more accurate. But that's Sam Fleety there. So that's Southfield getting ahead of Fleety at the moment. I think he was ahead before.
He was, yeah.
Yes, he was. So not losing too much time in the pits then is Jack Southfield. And still Nuttall and Tysers, Alcamp and Zampieri yet to come in as well. I think the only drivers left to make pit stops in towards that top 10. So things should settle down that little bit more very soon. But this might make Nuttall react, or will he go even later? Will he wait until almost the very end of the pit window, I wonder, just to have fresher tyres and a lighter car?
Who knows? Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, the big battle that I'm looking at here is between Fleety and Southfield as it stands. It's these guys finished P2 and P3 last time out in Silverstone, so very little separating them last time out, less than 3 seconds or so. I imagine it's going to be a tough old battle between them this time as well. And so far, Fleety seems to have the pace. He's managed to catch up to him. We've got on board here with Borelli in the red Ferrari. What a colour for a Ferrari that is. That is a beautiful looking car as well, is it not?
No, it certainly is. Very stereotypical, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose. You know what? There was a blue Ferrari on the grid last week. I don't know if that blue Ferrari is still out there, but you know what? Props to it. I kind of liked it, although it did make it look a little bit like a Ford GT, I must say.
Bit of an off-track excursion there for Borelli.
Yeah, a little bit.
Managed to save it. But yeah, you've got to be careful with how you paint your Ferraris these days, because as Deadmau5 found out, I don't know if you heard the story or not.
No, go on.
He painted his custom Ferrari with the Nyan Cat theme and called it the Ferrari. Yeah, it was horrendous. It looked absolutely horrible. It was baby blue. It had a big rainbow all over it and a big cat from the Nyan Cat meme of internet fame. And Ferrari sued him for painting his car that colour, said it was damaging to their brand, and made him paint it back and refused to sell him any more Ferraris in the future.
Wow.
Do not get on the wrong side of Ferrari, basically.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, an interesting story nonetheless, but crazy.
Thinking of painting your custom Ferrari a different colour? Don't.
Yeah, get a Lamborghini.
That's the moral of the story. Yeah, get a Lamborghini or something else, you know. I don't know. I've never been the biggest fan of Ferraris, to be honest. I mean, they're classic. They're classic cars, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just. I guess if I was to pick a Ferrari that I did, there was one Ferrari. I can't remember the car, but there was one that I did like. But I've always been, you know what? I've always been a bit more of a. I don't know. I've never been one for the too flashy of supercars. You know, I prefer a bit more. I prefer a supercar that's got a bit more grit to it, a bit more realism and stuff. I think, rather than this sort of flashy nature.
Ferrari, though, made the mold. They made the mold.
Yeah, they did.
absolutely fantastic. Because I had the actual pleasure of sitting in a 355 last a few weeks ago. I was out looking for a new car myself. My girlfriend's crashed our old Yaris, but we are going to go pick up a new one. New Yaris from Manchester this Sunday. But yeah, I got to start in the 355. I was looking around, having a look at a Corolla, as you do. And while you're looking at a Corolla, why wouldn't you want to sit in a Ferrari? But yeah, it was in there for just some light work. They are very much toys, are they not? Like, if you got the money for something like that kind of thing, 20 so grand, I think that one was worth or cost, and it's the running costs that really kill you. That guy was paying 3 to 5 grand a year just to run his Ferrari once in a blue moon on the weekend for a little runabout. So not for the faint of heart when it comes to the servicing costs of those things either, for sure.
There we go. I've just found the Ferrari that I liked. It was the Ferrari 348 GT. Lovely car. That one just looks very cool. It's even got the little lights that flap out from the front there as well, which I find quite amusing. But it's a lovely looking car, I think, for a 90s supercar there.
Yeah, that is actually one of my favourites as well. A very similar look to the Testarossa.
Whoa, that was whoa! Who's gone off there? McGowan, big spin from that purple Mercedes. Just absolutely lost it. Oh, that's not going to be great for his campaign at all. And somebody who's on a bit of a recovery is Angel as well, after the Slav torpedo took him out a few laps ago. And round the outside of the pit exiting car, that's Sir Smoggy's made a move, just clearing some traffic there. And actually, Guillaume Hamling has lost a bit of time out of the pits, and Nuttall's still not in the pit lane. Has he forgot, or is he coming in this lap? It's going to be tight. I don't know where he is on track.
32 seconds left remaining of the pit entry, and there he goes into the pit. So he's just about made it with 30 seconds to spare. He calculated that. Like, and that's in turn trying to impress. He's doing a fantastic job, though, you've got to say. He's so far out there at the moment, massively. And he's to lose at the moment. But yeah, as we got on board with Millington, who's behind Southfield now. So Fleety and Southfield, something's gone on there. And they've swapped positions and got a driver in between them in Chumley as well. Millington, things did not go well for him after his pit stop either. Maybe he's been caught up in something, maybe got caught in some traffic, but he was in P2 and now in P9 after everything is settled. That's not the way he wanted that to go.
No, certainly not. And I think out of the pits is coming Nuttall at the moment. He's definitely not 62 seconds ahead. We'll find out what the actual gap to Hamling is in a moment. But yeah, Millington has just dropped like a stone out of nowhere. Maybe the early stop was not the way to go. Perhaps being the first driver in has really put a detriment on his race. But he's got some work to do, but he's not got too much time left to do it. Just over 11 minutes left in this race now. 11 minutes and 40 as we count down along, and that'll probably be another 4 or 5 laps, I'd have said. Maybe slightly more or less, somewhere around. We're waiting for that gap to come in still, but Hamlin has dropped Ligner at the moment. Things have settled down a little bit. I think just looking at the tower, this is our closest battle on the grid. It's Southfield and Millington, the two Porsches fighting away. They've got Samuel Chumley up the road a little bit as well, and he's falling into the clutches of Jack Southfield at the moment. So this 2-car fight could soon erupt into a 3-car battle if they can get themselves close enough. But Millington applying the pressure in number 86.
Yeah, Chumley in that McLaren as well, as we're going to see maybe a look up the inside there from Angel. Doesn't go for it this time around, but racy here with Mr. Sims. Who's almost certainly going to get moved up at least into the silvers. I mean, he's winning the silver. He's beating all of the silver guys as well, so maybe he's good enough for the pros. The guy is absolutely rapid in that green Ferrari, British racing green look-alike. Little yellow trim as well. Beautiful, beautiful car, that 296. You've got to say the lines are brilliant, but can't go around the outside into Lloyd Cup. It's too difficult to do as he gets a bit of a swapper there. Gets a bit of a wiggle there, does the Aston Martin. But that's going to cost him a chance to go at Mr. Sims into the Crocodiles. He's losing time hand over fist now over the Ferrari in front.
Yeah, he is, and these guys aren't battling for points, so it's not too worth Angel getting a bit too racy, but you tell a racing driver to back off. I dare you. That's going to be quite the altercation, I'm sure.
I think every racing driver, we've all said it as well in Iris. I'm just going to do this one for safety rating. I don't want to get involved in anything. I don't want to get frisky. And then before you know it, turn one comes around and you're 4 wide in a giant battle and you're not giving up. Look at this. Look at this sender. He's forcing his way up the inside there onto Mr. Sims. And Mr. Sims just says, well, you compromise your line so much, I'll try and sweep around the outside. He keeps it up the inside into turns 3 and 4. But looks like the Aston Martin has got the move done. And thank you very much, he says. He gets a little bit of curb there. It's slippy there. On the way out is Mr. Sims in a Ferrari, but he's now got Violetto behind to worry about in the silver category as well. So is Mr. Sims going to win the silver category as well as the amateur category? Who knows? Let's remain and see. We've got 9 minutes remaining here. And
here we go.
Actually happen.
Jack Southfield, he's on the hunt now. It is Jack Southfield. Millington on the hunt now too. It's getting very close. Samuel Chumley getting in the way of Southfield, and now side by side the 2 Porsches go. Southfield's got the inside line, though, the shorter run through the corner, and emerges ahead at the moment, closing that door. They've got to clear that McLaren. Southfield's really going to want to get past.
What defensive move there from Southfield. We've seen it already this race. We've seen it in the past before as well. We've got somebody off in front there. They're going very slowly. It was a blue BMW, I think. But it's got back going again now. But yeah, Chumley is now causing a bit of a roadblock for these two. These guys want to race, and they've got a McLaren 630 brake horsepower McLaren right in front of them, causing them problems, making them have to think twice about where they're going to make the move and how they're going to make this move. McLaren goes a little bit wide out of the final corner. We're going to have another fast run down to the kink and turn 2. And will Millington go for the move again here? He's going to look to have to force it. But looks so. Oh, we've got a bit of a late dive there. There's guys going through on the late on the lapped cars. The blue flag there for, I'm not sure who it was, but it is a blue flag there, and they all just dive up the inside of him. And that's the kind of thing that can kind of catch you out a little bit in these kind of races. With the blue flag, somebody gets out of the way, is unpredictable in that in the nature of getting out of the way, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. Somebody's just off the brakes or on the brakes at the wrong time. Contact can occur, but looks as though it's Southfield now all over the back of Chumley, and Chumley has to be the one defending now. Southfield needs to get this move done and get it done in the right place in order to give breathing space between him and Millington.
Yeah, but look who's crept up in the back of this fight now. Vyacheslav Volodya is creeping up on the back of them, maybe going to send another audacious dive into a corner. Hopefully not. Slav, don't bring out the Slav torpedo again. We'll skip over that this time, but a 4-car battle emerging now through all of this, and it's Jack Southfield. He's on the attack, but he's got to be wary of the cars behind him. Any mistakes, and here comes Slav. He's making a move on Josh Millington. He's going to be left as much room as Millington can allow. They're going to emerge side by side as well, but the Porsche is going to fend him off now as they make their way through the final few corners of the circuit. That was a nice little bit of side by side action from this lot, and I think this is going to continue all the way down to the end. We've got 6.5 minutes left of racing, and what racing we are in for. Jack Southfield is on the hunt once again.
Certainly is, and this little gang of cars here providing some great entertainment. Is Volodya is not shy. Oh, we've got another send here. It looks like he was going to go for it there, the silver Porsche of Southfield, but thought better of it. Looked as though Chumley was going to cut his nose off regardless anyway. Maybe he needs to get a better run out of one of these corners. But you've got to be more aggressive than this round here, for sure. You can't make the move into the S's, but we're coming up to Sunset now. And this is a place you can make a move through Sunset and into Clubhouse, turn 6 and 7. Looks like he's close enough to get it done this time round. But Volodya just letting Millington know, I am here. And if you leave the door open like that again, I will put my nose in it.
Yeah, he is, and that can be said as well for all of them, I think. And Chumley's doing very well to keep him off, but he's definitely the slower car here. I think if Southfield was to find a way past, I think he might just drift off into the sunset at the moment. And Millington getting all sorts of out of shape going over the curb. That could leave him vulnerable to Volodya, and it is. He's going to make a move. It's the inside. They're side by side emerging. Still the inside for the silver Ferrari, and they're still side by side as they go down this straight now and in towards this final sector of the track, still going at it as they go through Mineshaft and into the Crocodiles now, and it's the inside for Millington. Still a defensive masterclass from this Porsche, making it as wide as possible, and that's what we like to see. It's some absolutely great racing between these two, and Millington has made up for that mistake by fending off Volodya.
What fantastic racing. Look at the trust these guys have in each other's abilities.
Here we go.
Both very quick, as we've got Southfield coming up on the inside now to Chumley, and it looks like he's going to get this move done. He's already got the inside for turn 2. He's going to go around the outside of the King. Oh, look at that, the defensive move. He's squeezing him all the way to the inside as Chumley. He's not giving it up easy, and that's going to maybe make them both vulnerable to the iron Porsche behind. Oh, that is big, big push, and off the track into the wall goes Southfield. That is not gone to plan whatsoever, and through goes Volodya and Millington. Millington the big winner there, and looks like Chumley is down into behind them both essentially there, but the big loser there is Southfield. Did not go his way at all. It just looked like somebody got a bit of a snap of oversteer there. Contact was made, and whoa, what drama. That's not the way you want to win it, to be fair, but as a spectator we want to see that kind of action for sure.
Wow. I'm not sure Jack Southwood will be too happy with that one. That was it was looking good until until it wasn't, I suppose. And wow, yeah, I won't comment on that too much. But again, I think the stewards might be busy tonight with some after race reports.
May well be, yeah. But I mean, exciting for us for sure. Volodya is still all over the back of Millington and looking racy. He's not interested in Millington's qualifying pace or how quick he's been so far throughout this race, where he's been placed. He just wants to send it every chance he gets. This guy has an aggressive streak in him, a mile long by the looks of it.
Yeah, he certainly does. I'm just having a look at the track map. Where is car number 14? Can't see him at the moment. I was just trying to calculate how much we got left. I reckon about 2 laps is what I would have said. Possibly 3. We'll wait and see as the drivers continue on. But a little bit of an anticlimax. But we've got a bit of a battle going on down here. We're riding along with Redovid at the moment. Giuseppe Zampieri. No, I think he's chasing Scarcelli actually. Now that I look at it once again, it's all very strange, this timing tower at the moment. Or is it Scarcelli being chased by Redovid? I think it's that way round. Oh no.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine at that time. Tower and the way that's behaving at the moment.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it updates every sector, is what I found out. So every time it goes across the sector line, it updates, which is for live timing is very confusing, I'd say, because obviously it doesn't update to what's most recent. So you've got to really pay attention, I suppose, to what's going on around you and sort of call the shots as it's going, rather than relying on the timing tower too much. Although I think all the rest of our bits and bobs, the whole pit wall thing we got going on here, that does help as well, if you do manage to sort of get around it. And I must be honest, I'm struggling to get my head around it all, to be fair. The best thing I can follow is the track map at the moment. But here we see Cockle. He's making some moves at the moment, is he? Yes, he's getting close to the back of Leparati at the moment, trying to find a way through. This is a battle in the silvers at the moment. Looking for the outside is the Ferrari. That's black, purple, and green coloured Ferrari. That's quite the livery there. I like the wheels. The wheels being purple. That's nice on there.
Certainly is. Yeah, this is for P5 in the silver category. So big points up for grabs here. But at the moment, Leverati and that Aston Martin keeping him at bay and keeping things smooth as it stands. But the real winner of this one so far has to be Noddle, who after a poor showing last week, some major issues and incidents and a DNF, he is winning this race by 13 seconds and absolutely dominating proceedings as we see him in his nice, lovely black livery there. Black, red and white. Absolutely gorgeous is that. And he'll be thinking that trophy at the end of this race is going to be gorgeous as well. It's 30 seconds remaining. I believe we might be going to go onto the white flag as he crosses the line next. This is the final corner for him to start the final lap, I believe it's going to be. Could be wrong on that, correct me if I am, but 16 seconds remaining. And he crosses the start-finish line there. And Yeah, final lap, 23 laps done here at Kyalami, and it's been an absolutely epic race so far. Everybody's been getting their elbows out. I've got to say, Paul Sims is almost certainly going to get moved up one, if not two categories here. We've got some side-by-side action here as Volodya and Millington are going at it once more. Millington is not giving this up, though. He is just saying no at every corner. He just keeps closing the door, defending for his life. And it's beautiful racing, you've got to say, from Mr. Millington. A defensive masterclass being put on show for us here. Do you think, Kelsey?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. That Porsche is making itself as wide as possible. Really showing it to Slav there at the moment. And he's just making his life difficult and not giving an inch, I think. And that's what he needs to keep doing, although he's still got the majority of the lap left. We are on the final lap of this race now. And I was just having a look over some of the lap times, and I think the race lap record has been certainly smashed around here. That's currently held by, who did I say it was before? I didn't note that down. I think it was Jamie Campbell.
It's Matt Campbell, actually.
Matt Campbell. There you go.
142 flat was 142.021 was his GT3 fastest lap on the Grand Prix circuit. So that has been well and truly smashed, like you say.
Yeah, it has. And here we are then. Jamie Nuttall for the final time making his way around the final corner on the circuit. He has dominated. It's been 14 seconds ahead. He has put last week behind him, and he's going to come home to win in the pros here in the TSRC GT3 Series. A great race from the Ferrari driver, and it's certainly been one to watch. Hamling, he hasn't let himself down there. He's going to come home in a decent P2. He's got Dominic Aligna just behind, I think, for company. That's not just yet. I think he's got a corner or so to come around. There's Aligna in the Audi making his way across the line. Then it's Sir Smoggy, Ticehurst, Fleeting, and we watch Millington and Volodya. Can Volodya send something audacious, send something from another postcode into this final corner like he did once before? Not quite. It's going to be Millington and Volodya. They're going to come home in P7 and P8 respectively. And Samuel Chumley is going to come home in P9. Angel will come home and round off the top 10. Then Paul Sims is going to come across the line, and he is going to win in the AMS. And just behind him is Violetto as well. So here's your AMS winner, Paul Sims, and then Violetto, your silvers winner. Then there's Hutter, Southfield, Alcamp, then Elias Troyer, then there's Buring. He's trying to find a way past Troyer, but I don't think he's got enough in him as they go through the final corner at the moment. There's Buring across the line at the moment, and wow, we've had such an incredible race around here. We've still got plenty of cars to make their way across the grid.
A few of them still battling, as well as Liberati and Salnikov and Cockle, all within 1 second of each other here coming around the final corner. But that is race done, and what a fantastic race it was. What a track this is as well. It's so flowing. Beautiful track. We had some big mistakes from drivers here, but yeah, I mean, what else to say other than Nuttall has absolutely dominated it as well. We've got some great finishes here from Hamling. Very quiet race for him. He was having a bit of a battle there with Millington at the early stages, but Millington pitting early, strategy didn't come off for him, and Hamling then had a quiet race till the end, and that's put him in charge of the championship, I believe. That's going to put him on 55 points and in the lead of the championship. And Iligna as well has not was not here last week, I believe, so he's got himself on the board in terms of points also. But what a race that was. So much drama, so much action. I'm almost out of breath.
Yeah, for sure. I'll run through the order once more then before we close things off. This Nuttall is the winner for the pros. Then we've got Guillaume Hamlin coming home in P2 with Dominic Aligna P3. So Smoggy, Ticehurst, Fleety, Millington, Volodya, Chumley, Angel, Hooter and Southfield. That's your pros. That's how they finish. And then we move on. There's Paul Sims in P11. He's your winner for the AMS. And Violetto, he wins for the silvers at the moment. And then we'll go from Alcamp and Troyer. They're going to be P3 and P2 for the silvers. Then we've got Buring. Then Gamello's your P2 for the AMS. Cockle there as well. He's coming home in P19. Then Leparati, Salnikov, Redovid, Scarcelli, Zampieri, Borelli, Giardi, Morton, Di Fiorenzo, Romanoli, Stick, Fuller, Kyala, Martin, McGowan, Hilliard, and Miglioli. as well. Then we got Sapel, Cisco, and Wells, who a bunch of drivers there. I think five or six who didn't see the checkered flag, unfortunately. But that was a great race around Kyalami. I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Certainly did as well. It was an absolute pleasure commentating with you as well. And big up to Mr. Fuller, who didn't disappoint. He was absolutely rapid here. Did a decent showing in the AMs as well. Almost certain to see Mr. Sims jump up at least to the silvers after this evening, as we're going to have a rejig of the categories. He's definitely quick enough to fight for the lead in the silvers, and maybe he's going to jump into the pros. Who knows? We'll certainly find out next week, though. We'll be back for more.
Yeah. Keep eager eyes on the championship going forward. And that's it. That's Kyalami. That's round number 2. And next week we head to Spa-Francorchamps. What another fantastic circuit. That's going to begin May off. So come and join us again at the same time next week for that. So that's going to be an amazing race indeed. But one big final shout out to Kieran Sharp, the man behind the camera, of course. He dealt with some technical issues before we got going, but managed to get the stream all up and running. So big shout out to Kieran, and a big shout out to all of the 1,000 people who have subscribed to JP Broadcasting. I'm sure there'll be plenty more shout outs for that as we go along, but I was glad that myself and Steven could be there for that magical moment where we reached 1K. It's a very, very big milestone. But unless there's any final points from you, Stephen, I think we're all good to get moving.
Yeah, no points from me. Just that, when we hit 2,000, I want to see fireworks. We need something in place for the next milestone for sure.
Balloons,
but I've had a fantastic time tonight. It's been a great race, thoroughly entertaining.
Amazing. I'm glad to see it. So this has been the TSRC GT3 PC Series round number 2. We're going to be going to Spa next week, so join us then. But for now, I have been Kelsey Gill. It has been Steven Karabelas, and it has been Kieran Sharp. I wish you a very, very warm goodbye and enjoy the rest of your Thursday night.